Well, hey everybody, I'm Jack, and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Hope you all had a nice day out there. I'm having one of those kind of weird days. It's just, I guess I would categorize it a mellow day. I don't feel bad. I'm not in a bad mood. I'm not low energy, but I'm just mellow. I just haven't been able to get into gear today. I'm just kind of like floating around and drifting, but hey, that's okay. Sometimes you just got to roll with it, don't you? Anyhow, today I want to talk about best way to start a raw food diet. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please go down and hit that red subscribe button now. I'd really appreciate it. Come back and watch some of my videos and see what the crazy old dude has to talk about. Also, too, down in the description below, you can find my store, my shirts. I tell you what I'm going to do. I just had the store, some work done on the store, but there's some of the work that I need to go back in there and do, like with the sizing and what have you. There's a lot of little bells and whistles on the back end of that thing. So I find little errors all the time. People point out errors to me, and I got to go, like some of the shirts, they click on them and all they have is extra small because I was choosing, I thought I was excluding, I thought I was including every other size but extra small. But anyhow, I'm going to redo that. But for this particular one, no mud, no lotus, I will put a link straight to the shirt that I know is okay below. Best way to start a raw food diet. I don't know how many of these I've done. I decided to do it just kind of go back 7 years and kind of think, like just channel myself and what was going on back then. The biggest thing is just start eating raw food. Just start doing something. I remember it was a weekend. It was somewhere around the third week of June in 2012. I don't know how I came across it. I don't know what, where, and why, but I came across some raw food videos, and then that kind of just took me down the rabbit hole. I would click, I clicked on this, and this takes you to this, and then you know how that goes with anytime you're online. And all weekend, I watched videos and I read about this lifestyle, and it made sense to me right off the bat. So, I'm trying to think, like, what did I do? I think literally, I'm living in Costa Rica at the time. I was living in the city, San Jose, Costa Rica at the time. And I had already, I was kind of on a journey for health. I was a little bit worried about where all the drinking I had done in my life was going to lead to and what kind of health issues I might have. So I just started, about 6 months prior to that, I started looking into health and antioxidants, healing the body, just anything that I could do to try to try to undo some of what I did and give myself the best chance of living a happy, healthy life for the rest of the time I have on this planet. So by the time I came to that, I'd cleaned up a little bit. I was eating meat maybe 2 or 3 times a week. I didn't really drink milk by that time. I did have some cheese. I did have eggs from time to time, but I had drastically already kind of cut my animal products. So I think literally what I did that very first weekend in between watching videos was I just went out and got some fruit. That's the first step right there. Like, everybody wants to be complicated. What's your program? What do you recommend? Always think of the simplest way of doing anything before you have to go to more complicated. Sometimes just simple will not work, but always try just think common sense. Common sense goes a long way in life. So I think just step one was I've heard about the raw food diet. I went outside of my house and I bought fruit and I started eating fruit. That was it. That's the absolute best. And I've got some more things here, but that's the absolute best place to start right there. Just start eating some fruit. So many people starting this lifestyle, myself included, had never eaten all that much fruit. Now, I was a little bit of an exception. I enjoyed fruit, but I never understood, eating a whole lot of it. Sometimes I'd have a fruit bowl or something for breakfast, and I did enjoy pineapple and some of the things we had, but it just wasn't a big part of my life. So I just started eating fruit. And I think from the very beginning, I pretty much I just started eating fruit for breakfast. Either I ate fruit or I made smoothies. I ate fruit or I made smoothies. So that's step number one. Let's just pretend that you're hearing about the raw food diet or you're interested in the raw food diet for the first time. Jack, what do I do? Go get in your car, go get on your bike, walk to your store and buy some fruit. Start eating fruit. Start eating a bunch of fruit. You're not, if you haven't done it before, you're not going to eat too much fruit. But people have varying opinions on that. Some people don't eat as much fruit on the raw food diet. But that's just, like I say, you're watching my videos, you seem to be following me, so I can only give practical advice from my standpoint, the way I look at it. So just start eating. Start eating fruit, start eating raw food. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you. Get all this stuff out of your head about who did what and this person went raw overnight, or you need to do this, or you need to follow this holy program, or you blah, 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 and you should transition like this. Go at a pace that's comfortable for you. But don't short yourself. In other words, don't go ridiculously slow, just going, well, this is comfortable for me, and 2 years later, you're still eating animal products, or you're still eating some really bad stuff, and you're just saying, well, I'm getting there. Make it reasonable. Go at a pace that's that maybe challenges you a little bit, but don't try to take on too much at one time, and do a little bit more each day. Listen, if you want to go ahead and tune out here, I'm not going to give you anything prolific. All I'm going to give you is some basic, simple, common sense things. But I think that's the way you do it, because so many of these programs and these drastic measures and this extreme and I'm going overnight is not working. So just think these little practical steps. And even if you're not being perfect, even if you're not eating a fully raw food diet yet, whatever you're not doing yet, you're doing better than you were doing yesterday. You were doing better than you were doing when you were eating chicken wings, when you were eating KFC, when you were going for burgers in the drive-thru. So just go at a pace that's comfortable for you and eat a little bit more every day. One thing I would say too, and this kind of expands on just going out and getting yourself some fruit and just start eating that. That is good, but to add to that, just start making fruit, smoothies, and salads a lot more a part of your life. Now once again, I eat very simple, and some of it is laziness for me. So, if you're already thinking, well, I don't want to live on just fruit, smoothies, and salads, that's okay. You'll learn to make some food, you'll learn some recipes along the way, but there's good solid nutrition, and there's lots of, you can get lots of calories in the smoothies. You're getting your greens, you can get, it's a good place to get your good fats on the salads. So just include a lot of fresh fruit, smoothies, and salads. One thing I did, and this is not necessarily raw, but one of the first things I ever learned, and I quit doing that from day one, is oils. I didn't quit eating oil from day one, but I quit. If you're still cooking, don't cook with oil. Oil is a carcinogen. It's a bad carcinogen, and when it's heated, it's not good stuff. So that's one thing I did. Like I say, it's not necessarily related to going raw, but then again, it's not all about going raw. It's about your health. So those are little things I did. Like, I stopped cooking anything in oil. But that was just, I'm trying to go back. I made a few notes here, and I'm trying to just tax my old feeble brain a little bit, but there was nothing all that complicated about it. I just enjoyed my food. I never put any pressure on myself. I've never had any guilt for 7 years. Not one bit of guilt for 7 years. Because if I do something one day, number one, I don't do anything all that terrible. It's not like I go down to KFC and scarf down, a chicken box, and then I got that guilt. But yeah, I've done things over the 7 years that are not optimal for me. But you know what I do? And here's something else, and I will finish with this about how to start a raw food diet. Is when you fail, or within your mind you think you failed, you've eaten something that you shouldn't eat, whatever it is. I mean, I could think of 100 different scenarios based on different things. Maybe you ate more calories, or maybe you ate too much more fat than you wanted tonight. Maybe you didn't want to eat cooked, you ate cooked. Maybe you ate something bad cooked. Erase it from your mind. As soon as you do it, so many people get into a spiral. You know, they do something and they're like, okay, I'm not perfect now. And they dwell on it and they're guilty. They have guilt about it. They beat themselves up. When you fall, and this is really good practical advice in my opinion for everything. When you fail, and I don't even really necessarily call it failure, it's just learning how to do this or learning how to do anything. But when you have that moment of failure or when you come up short, just go back to what you were doing. In other words, let's say tonight you ate something horrible, 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 and you're laying around and you're going, oh, why did I do that? I knew better than to do that. Why didn't I do this instead? Why didn't I eat some fruit? Why didn't I make some ice cream? That's not going to do you any good. You know, the best thing you can do, the only thing rationally you can really do is just next meal. You start right back up and you eat something good. I don't know. People talk about this addiction thing and it's almost like, well, if I put one bite of this food in my mouth, they're acting like they're crackheads or something. Like, yeah, once I smoked that first rock, I just couldn't stop. Well, then you might need to see somebody. I just don't, I don't think it's that much of a pull for the food. But yeah, stop beating yourself up. Stop having guilt. And if you fall short, if you do something you don't want to, just the next meal, the next time you eat, put something good in your mouth. But that's the first thing right there. Just start eating fruit. This is not that, look, I'd probably be smarter if I would just sit down and concoct some sort of a program or write some sort of book with all these big terms or what in there, because then I could sell it and bank. But it's eating food, and in my opinion, it's eating how we were designed to eat. You guys know, and I'm not fanatic. That's probably why it's worked for me, and that's probably why I've thrived for 7 years. Is because I'm not fanatic about it. I'm not, constantly, oh my God, I better not eat this. But anyhow, just a few practical suggestions. It's kind of a daunting question to me, and it's almost even more daunting when people seem almost in a panic. Like, man, I want to start a raw food diet, but I'm so nervous. And I get these questions sometime, and I'm like, whoa, just take a step back. You're not running a marathon. You're not trying to. You're eating. So. Anyhow, take a breath, learn as you go, just get started. Everybody has to take that first step. So, yeah, it's natural. So listen, the next time you think you've screwed up, you do whatever, just make sure that you eat some fruit the next meal. Make sure you have a smoothie the next meal, and get it out of your head and just move forward from there. Nobody's perfect. You're going to probably stumble. If you know going into things, you're probably going to have some stumbles. It's just part of life. It's part of the learning process. So, don't sweat it so much. Don't get so uptight about, this big raw food diet. You're getting the benefits just by doing something. Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed this video today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Peace.